Welcome, everyone. This is Squid with Chrome Shop Radio, the only podcast made for truckers by truckers.
I could. I know there ain't no rest for the wicked until we close our eyes for good.
Welcome to Khrome Shop Radio, the only podcast built for truckers by truckers. I am Squid, and to my side over here, you see my team over here. We're going to introduce ourselves. First, we got Montana.
Hi, everyone. I'm Montana.
Then we got Mario.
What's up, guys? Mario, a.k.a. That Mother Trucker.
We got Wayne.
Hey, gentlemen, this is Wayne. I'm Phoebes76. How's it going?
All together, we are Khrome Shop Radio. And right now, we're going to take some time to introduce ourselves. We'll start off with Miss Montana here. Let her tell you a little bit about herself.
All right, everyone. I'm Montana Martins. If you see me on TikTok, you know a little bit about me. But if you are new, I will introduce myself. A little bit about what I do. I drive an owner-operator. Oh, mad guys. I'm an owner-operator of a 2012 Peterbilt 389. I am 21 years old, and I have been doing this for 2 years now. I started when I was 19. I started hauling grain. I've hauled pretty much everything you could think of. I've gone from grain to fertilizer, liquid, cattle, gravel, equipment, and some hay as well. Kind of what got me into this is I started out, I think, 15 years old. I worked at a mechanic shop, a diesel mechanic shop, and that's where my passion for this came from. I also grew up on a farm, my family farm, and I've been doing this since I was 12 years old. So that's how I got here today. And my goals would probably be to have my own set of trailers eventually. I don't know if I ever want to grow into a fleet, but definitely my own set of trailers, my own name on those trailers, and I think that basically sums me up for now.
Awesome. So next we got Mr. Wayne. Mr. Wayne.
Hey, I'm Wayne. 44 years old. Been driving for 7 years. Used to do a lot of road construction stuff. My dad, and my uncles drove truck, so I've been around them all my life. I got into it. I don't know. I always had a passion for it and wanted to do it. Just was never had the opportunity to do it, and finally got into it and wish I would have done it years ago. It's one of them things that just kind of fell into place, and now I'm just madly in love with driving trucks. I drive a 2020 Peterbilt 389. I'm not an owner operator yet. I'd like to be eventually. I drive for a company that's local. We kind of run regional. I do a few extra runs that go out way out. I haul mainly grain and feed right now. I got into the feed wagon, and it's called a convertible trailer. Some guys have seen it. It's kind of a specialized trailer. I love the shit out of it. And a lot of guys think it's a lot of work, but I enjoy it. And I don't know, hopefully in 2-3 years, I'll be owning everything, the trailer and the truck. I hope. I guess, my vision is just to have my name on the side of that truck someday. And hopefully, I can help, with my being a driver for a company, I can help some of the guys that are starting out and get what they need to get so they can get to where they want to be someday too. And with that, I guess I'll let it go, and we can let Mario take over from here.
Awesome. So next we got Mario.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mario, 29 years old, owner-operator. I drive the oldest truck out of all these people in this entire group. I drive a 2000 Freightliner FLD 120 with a Detroit in it. started off at this stuff very young. My father is a 33-year veteran, and when I was about, I'd say 6 years old, he threw a grease gun in my hand, and that's where I started getting into the trucks. Made me start greasing his truck, helped, taught me everything he knew about working on them and everything like that from a very young age. And riding in the truck with him since I was in a damn booster seat. Uh, I, you know, every school break from, school, summer break, winter break, spring break, I was in that truck. Couldn't get me out of it. It's been a passion my entire life. I started out as a diesel mechanic because, my father never wanted me to drive. But, I eventually made it over to that way. Started off as a diesel mechanic, went to Lincoln Tech up in New Jersey, graduated from there, and worked on trucks and trailers for about, I'd say, 9 years before I started driving. And when I moved to Florida, I decided I wanted to start driving. Started out with a mega company, and 5 years later, here I am with my own truck and, pulling a produce trailer. Well, produce, refrigerated freight, frozen food, anything you could put on a reefer trailer. And, just a little bit about me, how I got started. I guess we'll move on to what we got to do now.
Awesome. All right, so next we got me. My name is Squid. Some of y'all know me from TikTok. Some of y'all don't. I started driving truck about 10 years ago, and I got into trucking just by happenstance. I am a first-generation truck driver, hopefully a last-generation truck driver. Really don't want my daughter doing this job. I started out driving with a company. Well, before I did this, I was actually in the medical field. Did that, and then I got into this because I realized there's a lot more money in doing this. Started out working for a company. Actually went to a company and got my CDL. That company ended up getting bought out. And once the buyout was announced, me and a buddy of mine that we went through CDL school together, we ended up teaming, and we left and we went to a hazmat company where I worked for roughly about a year and a half. And from there, I went on. I did a little bit of local stuff. I've hauled logs. I've hauled fuel. I've hauled pretty much just about anything you could think of. Not everything, but I've hauled a lot. I've hauled fuel tanks. I've hauled milk tanks. I've hauled bulk pneumatic trailers, hauling fly ash for concrete companies. I have, again, like I said, I've done logs. My specialty is flatbed, open deck, heavy haul. Done reefer, dry van. About 6 years in to my driving career, I had already been 4 years flatbed, and at that time I was an over-the-road flatbed trainer for a company out of Mississippi. I did so good there. I was promoted and offered a job in the office to build a training program for said flatbed company. So I ended up building a flatbed training program, a flatbed training and safety manager, where I was there for about 8 months, built that program, and actually got published with the FMCSA. And there are companies that use my training program still today. I left there and started doing some more flatbed stuff, and then I went owner op. I drive a 2017 Peterbilt 389 with a Cummins. Like I said, I'm an owner op. I've been doing this for a few years. And my goals, I've got different goals. I see a lot of things differently depending on what day it is. Ideally, my goal would be to own my own fleet. I want to have different trucks, different people driving the trucks, and just kind of make a small family company of like 15, 20 trucks. So that's where I see myself in the future potentially. Future is definitely unknown, but that's a little bit about me. So now that we've got the introductions out of the way, I think we all would like to welcome everybody to the very first episode, our pilot episode of Chrome Shop Radio. Welcome. So right now, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, I think we want to kind of talk about why we created this. Let's just kind of touch on how we all met. First of all, we all met through TikTok, actually.
Yep.
I think we all followed one or another at some point in time, and we kind of clicked, and we exchanged information, and we've become friends since then. So we all were sitting together one night, and kind of had this vision that this 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 industry is kind of washed out a little bit, I feel. And there's a lot of people that haven't really gotten the full grasp of what we do. And there's a lot of truck drivers out there that aren't appreciated. So we kind of want to bring light to all that. We want to kind of tailor this to the older generation, the current generation, kind of like a lot of us that are, between a 5, 10, 15-year mark, and the newer generation and those who are seeking to get into the group. So anybody, what do y'all want to put in on that? What do y'all think?
I'd say you're pretty spot on that. I mean, that's what we want to do it for. Is we want to do it for the the new generation coming in. We want to also help with the older generation to learn new tips and tricks and different information that people need to do this job correctly and rightly, and safely. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, I like to see people learn from this like we're going to learn from this, because it's not just you, the viewers, are going to learn from this. We want to learn too. So, that's what part of it's going to be an interaction. We want to be able to hear some of the comments, some of the questions, and we'll look them up the best of our abilities. And if somebody knows more about it, by all means, get a hold of us and tell us what's going on. We hope to be able to bring others on here once in a while to be able to shed some light on some new subjects. Like we'd love to find a DOT officer, and I know every state's different, but if we have somebody, a DOT officer that goes through some of the new regulations that are going to be coming up, so we understand what's going on, so we don't get in trouble in the scale somewhere. That's, we want to be able to make sure everybody can do our job safely. And we also want to be able to inform the public of what we do, so they understand what we do on day in, day out.
Yeah, I mean, I understand entirely that there's going to be some people that watch this and, oh, these guys only got 5, 10 years, out here, whatever. But this isn't this is not only us trying to tell people something. This is a learning experience for us too. Like Wayne said, we want to, I'm down to hear tips from anybody. We need to bring this entire trucking community back together. Like, yeah, there's a lot of, crap talking on TikTok, a lot of guys going at each other, that's all good fun. I mean, I don't take any of that stuff seriously. This podcast, it needs to be about bringing everybody back together. Learning everything that, somebody else could know, learning from us. Yeah, you know what? Not all of us have the most experience as some of these guys out here. But being, Squid being, a second, third generation trucker, I'm a third generation trucker. I got, 70 years of people telling me things under, so, I just hope that we can help people and also be helped at the same time.
I agree. Like you said, there's a lot of crap talking online on social media. We as an industry, we have a lot of animosity built up between us. And what a lot of people don't understand is that there is a lot of back and forth on what we drive, what we pull, whether we're local, whether we're over the road or regional. But what a lot of people don't understand is at the end of the day, no one really cares. We don't really care what you drive. We don't care what you pull. We don't care if you're an owner, operator, or lease operator, or whether you're a company jockey. We don't care. We don't care if you're the yard man sitting here at the DCs pulling trailers in and out of doors. At the end of the day, without all of us doing what we're doing, whether we're in an Arrow, whether we're in a hood, whether we're in a cab over, it doesn't matter. We're all doing the same job, trying to fuel this country, trying to fuel this world. I'm sorry, trying to fuel the world, because Montana is from Canada, so it can't necessarily say this country. So we're trying to fuel the world. Truck drivers all over the world, they're the backbones of every community, every civilization. Without truck drivers, even the most rural areas, in today's society, they would crumble.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. I feel like we've lost a lot of our passion towards this job. Definitely my generation, I'm finding that there's not a lot of us out there. Being 21 years old, I don't know many people that want to do this job anymore and that want to go out and do the stuff that truck drivers have to do and spend the hours and spend time away from family. It's just kind of sadly, it's a dying breed, unfortunately. And I'm scared that maybe in 10, 15 years down the road, there won't be a lot of us because the passion's gone and it's more of a judgment. And it's not a very welcoming community. And I'm not just saying that as being a female in the industry, because it's actually been pretty welcoming for me. But no, you have to drive the pretty trucks and you have to be pulling the hot loads or the tough jobs or the cattle liners. Like, it's all just a mirage. And I feel like that we need to really get back to the roots and back to the passion that drives us all to do this job. And if we're not going to be welcoming to the younger generations or to other people who just want to get into it, then we're going to lose out on this industry. And I'm really hoping we can turn that around for you guys.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like that. A buddy of mine told me not too long ago, it was actually the other day, he said, in his generation, he started driving the 70s, 80s. Back then, they had movies and everything to hype everybody up, kind of get truck drivers and trucking actually, make it enticing to the younger generation. He said they'd go around school wearing Smoking the Bandit shirts. They'd run around wearing Peterbilt, Kenworth shirts, just because those movies were popular of the day. Today, we don't have stuff like that puts a positive light on truck driving as a whole. People understand, especially with this pandemic going on, especially early on in the pandemic, that truck drivers were the backbone. But now that the pandemic, I'm not sure how to look at it, whether it's dying off or we're just growing accustomed to it. I'm not sure how really to look at it in that aspect, without getting too political with it. But back then, things were a whole lot different than what they are today. Today, we see movies, and TV shows. We see blood and gore. We see, adult content. We see cussing and comedy. We see stuff like that. We don't see the old outlaw stuff that they had back in the 70s and 80s, and hell, even the early 90s. Stuff like that just doesn't exist anymore. Even if it did, I really don't feel like today's generation would appreciate it as much as the older generation did.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I would love to, first off, I just want to say, Squid, stop forgetting to change the bottom. But regardless,
My bad.
Back on point.
This is the pilot episode. We're allowed to make
it's the pilot
today.
episode. It's the first. We're trying to figure it out. Give us a break, guys. Give us a break. No, but a lot of people that have come into this industry, they look at it as just a job.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between today and the 70s, the 80s, even the 90s. Back then, one day I would love to get my father on here to tell some of those stories from back then, because everybody had the passion. It wasn't just a job.
Mm-hmm.
You went to the truck stop and everybody stopped. The back row was party row. When somebody was broken down, you had 4 drivers pulling over trying to help you. What do you need? Here's tools. Here's, a hose. Here's some water. And that's what we need to bring back in this industry. People need to start working together. Instead of everybody trying to be divided between, owner-operators, company drivers, this guy, it drives like an asshole, that guy does this. We're all doing the same job. And we all need to stick together in this, or else we're never going to make it.
Yeah.
I agree. I've actually put that out on quite a few TikToks. In order for us all to survive out here, we've all got to have each other's back. And all this bullcrap animosity that we've got going back and forth with each other, be it personal or be it just because of what we drive, what we haul, it's kind of it's counterproductive.
Yeah, exactly. It is counterproductive. But in that aspect too, with the TikTok and everything else, that's all about people wanting content and views. Most of the guys that I know that are on TikTok that are making those videos are like us. We don't really give a shit what you drive. I get a lot of heat because I drive a Freightliner. Whatever. I love my Freightliner. I love Peterbilts. I love Kenworths. I love any damn truck. It doesn't matter what truck it is. If it makes money, I want to drive it. That's just, what it is.
Yeah.
I'll make anything nice. Yeah.
And I think that's another thing. Like, we all make the jokes about the Freightliners and the Volvos, but as long as you take pride in your ride, I have a lot of respect for people that way. Like, take care of your stuff, even if it is a company truck. Like, you don't need to trash it. You don't need to throw your garbage all over the truck. And it doesn't matter that it's not your truck or that it's not a fancy Peterbilt or a Kenworth. If it's a truck. It's your workspace. So keep it neat and tidy. And if you have a lot of passion for your vehicle, then I am all for that. And I have the utmost respect for people that put pride into their rides. And it doesn't matter what it is. If you like it, if it runs, it gets you down the road, then that's awesome. And that's what we need to be supporting, I think.
Absolutely.
Right. He's in the military. We were always told that vehicle pays your wages. And if you don't
Yeah.
take care of it and it breaks down, you ain't making money. So that's what it boils down to. I mean, take care of your ride. I mean, like you said, I don't care if it's a company-owned truck or not. Put a garbage can in there and throw your garbage away when you get to the truck stop and put it in the garbage can, not out in the parking lot where everybody else steps. That just, that's so frustrating when you see garbage just lay everywhere. It's like, really? And you wonder why we can't park in places. You know, pick up after yourself. It's not hard.
And that all boils down to common courtesy out here, which a lot of guys don't seem to have nowadays. You know,
No,
there's a
they
lot
don't.
of things that you just really shouldn't do because, you know, not for nothing, I'm going to say it. Some of the things that people do out here, you're an asshole.
Right.
Don't be that
Plain
guy.
simple.
Don't be the guy who's throwing the pit. Don't be the guy who's throwing the piss bottle in the parking lot. I understand you wake up in the middle of the night, you're in your boxers, you don't want to jump out the bunk, the guy pisses in a bottle, but at least throw it in the trash can.
Right.
You know, we used to be able to park at any Walmart in the country. Now they're few and far between. And parking is so limited nowadays. I mean, I could show you guys this truck stop I'm sitting in right now. It's a madhouse. There's trucks parked everywhere. There's guys that can't get out of their spots. They're going to have to get out and wake up because, you know, we have limited the places that we've been able to just pull in and park because of the way people treat these places.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
I see guys that complain about truck stops. Well, you know what? The truck stops might be a little bit better of a place if you guys treat it a little bit better.
Right. I
That's
mean,
what it boils down
that's
to.
our house. That's our house. Those truck stops are our house. Take care of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I pulled into a truck stop out in Wyoming one time, and I was there at the fuel island getting fuel. And the guy sitting next to the fuel pumps next to me had filled up, went in his truck, and went and paid for his stuff, came back out, and he was in his truck. And he was still sitting at the island, you know, which there was no room to pull ahead, which, okay, fine. He's getting a few things, and then he'll get going. Next thing I know, I hear water running, and I look over, and this guy is dumping a bottle out of his window in the fucking fuel islands. A piss bottle. I said, are you fucking serious? The trash can's right fucking there, dude. And he just looks at me like, what? It's like, oh my God. It's just, oh. I want to drag him out. But
about, I would say 2 days ago, something similar to that situation, except it wasn't a bottle. I was getting fuel on the fuel island. I'm not going to obviously throw anybody's company's names out there or anything like that. That's not right. We're not going to mint condition anybody. But, you know, the thing is I was getting fuel and I walked around my front of my truck to go put the fuel nozzle in the passenger side. And I see this driver on the fuel island, not even 25, 30 feet from the doors, pissing in between his tires.
Right.
You don't got to do that on the fuel island, dude. You can make it to the truck stop.
Right, I've been there. You hear that water running, and it's like, oh my God, I gotta go. And you're like, stand there doing the pee-pee dance, but I hold it until I get done and go inside. That
happens to me every time I get fuel. Pee-pee dance every time I get fuel.
Right, it's just like, I gotta go. But no, you know, it's just, would you do that in your own house? If you had to piss so bad, would you stop in your kitchen and just pee on the floor in there? No. So why are you doing it in a truck stop?
Yeah. You see, it's crazy because there's so many truckers out there, and I don't know if this applies to any of y'all, but there's so many truckers out there that actually pee in a jug, they shit in a bag in the back, and while they're driving down the road, they piss in a jug. And you know, that's all fine and dandy, but I don't do that. I don't know, I'm not a clean freak per se, but I'm a germaphobe to an extent, but at the same time, I'm living in this truck. You know, I'm not gonna be driving down the road, you know, just throw a bottle down and just, you know, go and accidentally piss a little on the floor. That's not me. I'm not gonna go in the bag and drop one in a bag and tie it off. You know, I can't do that in my own truck.
Yeah,
you know,
and you got shit on your floor.
Exactly. and people talk shit to me about that. Like, oh, you're just wasting time. Like, no, man. I would much rather pull over on an exit ramp and walk around and jump the barrier. I'd much rather do that at worst case scenario. But ideally, I'm going to go find a truck stop. Like right here at the truck stop I'm sitting at right now, I'm probably a good 200 yards, 300 yards away from the actual building. It'll be so much simpler for me to walk to the back of this trailer right here in the woods and take a leak. But I'm not going to because I'm not that far away. Today's truck drivers have gotten lazy.
Yeah, you see,
And there's no
not-
doubt about that. And there's no offense to anybody out there who applies to that. But at the same time, if the shoe fits,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say, I mean, that I agree with that entirely. I mean, if you're walking to the back of the trailer and there's woods or grass or something like that, I mean, okay, at least it's getting soaked up. But if you're getting
right.
I can't tell you how many times. I mean, every truck driver can tell you this. All you guys, every single person that's gonna see this podcast. You get out of your truck in a truck stop and you just smell pee on the ground.
Exactly.
Stop.
Laredo.
And that's why we lose places to park. Nobody wanted to walk into the Walmart parking lot and smell piss everywhere, or a garbage bag, or full-blown pee bottles. Like, come on, guys. I mean, we got to be a little bit better than that.
Well,
Walmart
and it
puts
applies
garbage
to more
cans out.
just it applies more to even just the parking lots. Like around here now that they're charging fees for you to use the washrooms because they're so disgusting that they have to clean them up. Like every day they got to get like scrubbed down. And so being a woman in it, like I don't expect the truck stops to be like perfect and clean, but like have a little respect for the people having to come in after you. As far as flushing the toilet, it's simple as that. Or actually pissing in the toilet, like that's another thing. Like I've
so wait a minute, being a female, you using female bathrooms, you have to deal with things like that with pee on the toilet seat and stuff like that.
A lot of the places that I go to are just like they're open to everybody, so it's an all gender. So
okay.
Every time that I go in, there's piss on the floor. It's just a horror scene in them bathrooms. But it's not even just for other drivers, but there's hired on people that have to go in and clean that. And nobody's going to want to be doing those jobs anymore. So they have closed down a lot of the bathrooms, and especially with this COVID going on, they've closed all the bathrooms. And being a woman, it's not like I can just stand behind my drives and let her go. It's just it's been frustrating that
they make apparatuses for that now.
Yeah, the shiwi. I'll get the
shiwi.
That's one thing that really, you having those issues, obviously because you guys got to use an all gender bathroom at most places, but like down here in the States, I mean, yes, there is some all gender bathrooms in certain places, but most of the truck stops aren't like that. You still got your men and your women's bathroom.
Yeah.
Guys, any driver that's watching is men, whatever, man, but mostly men. I know damn well that your mother would flip when you were a kid if you missed that fucking toilet.
Right.
My mother had a sign. She had a sign in the bathroom when we were kids. I'm the only boy out of all my siblings, but me and my father, and I had 3 little, sisters. But she had a sign in the bathroom that said, "My aim is to keep this bathroom clean. Your aim will help."
Well, you know what they say: the shorter the barrel, the worse the aim. Hey.
Yeah, you know what? You can still make it.
No.
But no,
I think that was a shot towards you, Mario.
Yeah, whatever. But anyway, on top of that, I know damn well that you guys aren't going to your bathroom at your house and using 15 pounds of toilet paper.
Yes.
Right.
Stop clogging the toilet. It's not that hard. I mean, yeah, you know what? Everybody understands the never-ending shit. But
the never-ending wipe.
The never-ending wipe. It happens. But, dude, do a courtesy flush instead of clogging it. And then the next thing you know, you got toilet paper and shit on the floor. And then these people are getting sick of cleaning it up, like Montana said. And then they're charging. I mean, how long is it going to take before we're dealing with the same stuff?
I'm sorry. I don't know about y'all. Whenever Wayne probably knows a little more. He started driving whenever the truck was invented. But, whenever
just because Moses helped me get my license, come on now.
What was it like inventing the wheel? I have to know. No,
that was a lot of chiseling.
My man's good with an axe.
And if I first started driving truck, we still had the whole point system. You get free showers and stuff. But there's been plenty of times. I know all of us have had to pay for showers before. Mm-hmm. We've all, if you have been in this industry for any kind of time, you have had to pay for a shower one way or another. Because whether your company doesn't fuel at the place that you had to stop at, you need a shower, or you just don't have any showers on your car. So whenever I first started driving, I always like to stop at the Petros and the TAs because they at that time they were the cleanest. Now it's kind of like a hit or miss, in today's society. But back then showers were only $9 a pop. Now you go to the cheapest TA or Petro that I've seen in the country. Of course, I pretty much run into direct places. I've been all over. I've been to the only state I haven't been to is Maine. So, but with what I run right now, with this count that I'm with, this is the cheapest shower that I've seen is probably about $14.
Yep.
And it gets expensive because these people got to come in and they're supposed to clean these showers after every use. I can't tell you how many times I walked by a shower room, going to my shower, and workers walk in, use the towels that we use to dry our bodies off and clean ourselves with, the floor mat, is take it, rub it around on the floor of their feet, spray some disinfectant in the air, call it a day. They're getting paid for this. They're getting paid to do these jobs. So I get that, up in Canada, I don't know how it works up there in Montana, but that's how it's supposed to be down here. Our paying for our shower is supposed to pay for them to clean that stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's similar here too. And a lot of, I know most people this won't apply to, but you're supposed to be a professional driver to be using these showers. And one of the biggest problems that I have had is I get accused of not being a driver. I can show them my license, but there's been a couple times that I've had to actually bring the people out and show them the truck I'm driving at like 2, 3 in the morning. And it's just so frustrating that there's that stigma there that I can't be a driver. And then a lot of the times it's, well, we need the driver and not the driver's wife and all of this. Like, you have to be the professional driver. And that's frustrating when you're trying to get into a shower at 2, 3 in the morning when you have to go through all of that.
That's wrong.
And that stigma, that stigma needs to stop, because not for nothing, women truck drivers, you guys are on the rise. I've seen so many female truck drivers, and I love it because, not for nothing, it used to be nothing but fucking dirty old truckers. Now we got, some pretty drivers out here. But that's besides the fact. The stigma needs to stop, because there's a lot of female drivers, and not for nothing, some of you guys drive better than some of the men that I've seen. So, that stigma needs to stop with the female drivers, because, if you're a driver, you need to be respected. You need to, be able to do what you got to do. If you're walking into a truck stop at 2 o'clock in the morning, odds are you're a fucking driver.
Yeah, I was like, well, I wouldn't be here if I didn't have to be. Like, I don't think this is my first place for a shower, but no, it's definitely frustrating. But then the next time I've gone in, and there was 2 ladies at the Nat and Flying J there in Alberta, and it was 3 in the morning. I was covered head to toe in cow shit, and they're like, you know what? You just go in, we'll pay for your shower, and stuff like that. Just, it really, really makes me happy that I'm in this kind of business, because there is some respect and there's some disrespect, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah, like a lot of not getting disrespected. Even the men, even the ones who dress, to the nine. Like a lot of the bull haulers, they kind of take off a Mario, not for nothing. And no matter what, even though they deal with cows and deal with shit all the time, you see them walking to the truck stops. They don't look like me. They don't look like Mario. They don't look like Wayne. They got the button down. They got nice blue jeans on. They got some good looking shit kickers on. They got a hat. They walk in looking professional, because that's just who they are. And there's still a lot of drivers that have to do it today. I don't walk into a customer without looking professional. I've got a button down that I throw on every time I get out. So I drive comfortably.
I wouldn't be wearing this shirt if I was going to see a customer.
Exactly. It's all about professionalism. You gotta look.
But I feel also when it comes down to, like, you don't need to be wearing the button down shirt in the truck stop and looking like the typical stereotype country boy truck driver.
Right.
But, the one issue that I do have, and I know I'm gonna get some heat for this one from a lot of people: sweatpants and flip flops. Are we on vacation?
No, you gotta be more specific. Sweatpants and flip flops for flatbedders.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But, it just, I understand being comfortable. But when you walk
Right.
into an establishment, at least try to look a little
Yeah.
bit presentable. I mean, when you
Because, I
walk
mean,
in with your flannel pajama pants on and your fucking flip-flops, you kind of look,
like a
like
slob.
an a-hole, like a slob. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I'm wearing a sleeveless. I'm in Florida right now, so y'all can screw off. I'm wearing my sleeveless. But, I still got my jeans. I got my boots. I got my sneakers back there. In the summertime, I wear shorts and sneakers.
Yeah.
But I'm not walking around in sweatpants, slippers,
Right.
whatever.
I mean,
Yeah.
how many of us take our shoes off and we're driving down the road and just driving your socks? There's a lot of us.
I have.
You know,
I do it all the time.
100%.
and
Yeah.
it's comfortable.
I
But it's not
my floors are clean all the time.
right, and it's
Absolutely.
nothing to slip your shoes back on. I mean, yeah, I wear like a loafer shoe is what I wear. And in my line of work, everybody gives me crap about it because I walk around with a pallet jack, driving a pallet jack around my trailer and stuff. And, well, why are you wearing those little shoes? I said, well, my job, I wore heavy boots in it, and I had an accident in the trailer, and it was because I didn't know where I put my foot. And I said, with these little shoes, these light shoes, I know where my foot's at all times. When I step down on those beams, I know where it's at. I
Yep.
feel that beam on my foot, and that's part of it. I mean, everybody thinks you got to wear boots doing it. Yes and no. Don't get me wrong. I wore boots for the first probably 5 years probably, and when I was just doing the grain. But now that I'm doing the feed and doing this and that, and you just got to adapt to what you need to do. And I'm going to be comfortable about it, but I'm also going to be safe about it too, because like I said, I fell on my face and I broke my cheekbone. I shoved it in and down, and I've got a plate and 4 screws in this bottom corner, and I had them up here. I had them taken and removed again because they were bugging me. And I don't want to do that again. If I wore those heavy boots, I'm guaranteeing it's going to happen when it's cold out and those boots are solid and hard and the aluminum's cold. It's slipped and it happens. But to walk into it, wear flip-flops, and those are for the shower. That's what
Yeah.
they're for. I mean,
Yeah.
Or if you're taking your 34 and going to the beach.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't even walk in to get a shower. I wear basketball shorts when I'm in the bunk, right? Or I wear
Right.
my big. I used to be a big, huge, heavy dude, so I've still got my 55 size freaking camo pants that I wear whenever I'm asleep because they're like 10 sizes too big for me, and they're just comfortable as shit to wear.
You like
And-
swimming? It's all good.
Exactly. I can take those things and hike them up to my chest and still have about a good foot of room to play with.
I mean, I can get in them with you.
Yeah. Come on.
All
But
right, all
I
right.
don't even wear that in there to get a shower. I walk in blue jeans, my tennis shoes. I walk in a t-shirt. I might walk in my tank top or whatever with my hoodie thrown over. But even going in to get a shower, I still look the part because it's not just my contractor's name on the side of this truck. It's my name on the side of this. I own this truck. I'm contracted with somebody, so their name's on it too. So at the same time, I'm representing them. But this is my truck. I'm representing myself. If you're working for a company, you're representing your company. If you just work for yourself and you just haul for customers instead of contracted freight, like me, like Mario hauls for customers. Montana hauls for customers. I haul contracted freight. So they just got their names on there. I got 2 names on there. So I'm representing 2 different people plus myself. They're representing just themselves. Wayne is representing himself and his company.
Yeah,
So
and it can go the other way too, where you're not. I don't want to be the woman driver in here and whatever, be bitching about that the entire time, but I've seen a lot of TikToks, and I don't want to be like the one that's not supporting body positivity or whatnot. But you are a professional driver, and if you want respect in this industry, then you're gonna have to earn it, right? So I see all these videos of these girls with their boobs hanging out, or they're wearing short shorts and they're wearing high heels in these videos, and it's like you're creating a false picture, because I sure as hell am not going out in shorty shorts. And have you ever sat in a leather seat with shorty shorts on? I mean, your ass is gonna stick to it. Like,
tell me about it. Tell me about
I know
it.
all about it. I have done it a few times.
yeah. Preaching to the
Who
wrong
all's
choir
driven in their
here.
underwear before?
Back when I was trying to get TikTok famous, I tried it out. It didn't work.
We're not asking about your OnlyFans page here. This is a podcast.
And that's
my
why.
bad. Wrong podcast. Sorry.
And that's why,
wrong podcast.
like I said, like you said, we're not trying to bash body positivity at all. Like, whatever, wear it. But that's why.
Like I said, I
a
used
lot
to
of
be
those
big.
girls get those comments from truck drivers who aren't going to respect them because not for nothing, we've seen them. Lot lizard this. Oh, look, a lot lizard got a CDL. It's not cool to say something like that. But in the same aspect, You know what? You can't even say that. Oh, like they're asking for it. No, you're not asking for it. You know, whatever. But you know, there's always going to be those assholes that are going to say shit like that.
Mhm. Yeah,
You
and
know,
it's
I'm all for it. I don't give a shit. But but you know,
yeah, I
if you
just
don't want
definitely
if
think
you don't want
that
to have that stereotype, you know, you gotta kind
yeah.
of stop.
Well, and
Yeah.
it's frustrating for people like me. I don't obviously wear the makeup, and that's just not perfect. Like that's not my choice. I don't
You
really
don't need
want
it.
to. It's not my what I'm into. I'm not saying girls
What, you don't
shouldn't
like
wear
my
makeup
eyeliner?
or whatever. Yeah, it looks gorgeous, but but I do hear
Hold
a
on.
lot of
All
good
right.
looks from the women that they're not getting
Because
the
we have shitty
respect they
beards.
deserve.
Yeah, because we got shitty beards.
Ooh, yeah, me too. I've been working on mine. Can you tell?
I don't see the beard, but you're getting the handlebar mustache going pretty good there, Montana.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you
Yes.
noticed. That's just for you.
Thought I seen some Italian there.
No, yeah, I don't know. This world's crazy.
Yeah, today's trucking isn't what it used to be, you
No.
know. And
No.
you know, Mario, he's been in it, you know, longer than I have. You know, just by proxy. I'm pretty sure he's seen a lot more changes.
You've been driving longer than I have, but I've been around
Have
it
I been
longer than
driving
you
longer
have.
than all of you guys? I have, haven't
Yeah.
I?
Yes,
Yeah.
you've been driving for what? 10 years?
Legally.
You said.
Legally.
Legally,
Yeah.
yeah, legally.
You know,
Yeah,
I've
Because
been.
I done a lot of
legally.
farm jobs over the years,
Right.
you know, and that's a whole different ball game, you know. But yeah,
You know.
like I said, my dad was in it. I've got 3 uncles that were in it. My brothers drove longer than I have. I mean, he got his license. I want to say it's been 15 years. My brother's had his license, and they've seen a lot of different changes. I've seen the changes when I rode with my dad, sitting in his cab over, sitting on the doghouse, looking through that windshield and stopping at truck stops. I can remember going in an elevator down to Omaha with my dad and my mom and my brother all in a cab over. We went as a family, and we went down there. And I can remember we got in there, and there had to have been over 100 trucks in that parking lot. And Dad, whatever chance, didn't think there was going to be that many there, and we'd be in and out. We didn't have a whole lot of food in the truck and didn't have nothing to drink. So Dad got out and walked down the line. And by God, when my dad came back with 2 bowls of cereal with milk and gave them to us kids, I mean, from another driver. I mean, that stuff don't even happen anymore. But if you knock on my door and you're hungry, you're thirsty, by God, I'll give you what I got. I ain't got a problem. I always carry food with me. That was one thing that my dad told me. He says, make sure you always got food in the truck. I don't care if it's a Snickers bar or if it's peanuts or if it's actual lunch meat or whatever. If you do have a fridge, but carry something with you because you just never know. It might be a bag of chips, might be a meat stick, water. You know, water doesn't expire. You can put that on the floor and it ain't gonna matter if it's warm, cold. You can still drink it.
Yep.
You
You
know,
never know where you're
and
gonna get stuck.
right, and it's just things like that. Just that doesn't happen like it used to. And like I said, I can remember that with my dad driving those trucks, and you'd hear guys on the radio talking nonstop the whole way down there. Now it's radio silence pretty well all the way. You might, if you're lucky, most of the time the guys that talk to me are the bull haulers. You know, I'll holler at them and give them a heads up that, hey, I seen a highway patrolman back there about 6 miles. You know, man, just be careful. And yeah, you're clear all the way down to Norfolk, no problem. You know, but you see the reefers and the van trucks, and most of them don't have radios. It's
Yep.
just it's not there anymore. Right. And it's not I understand that we need to have it. I believe we should have one in every truck. It should be standard in every
I
truck.
think it
And
should be
whether
standard.
you yes, because and whether or not when you park, shut it off. I don't care. That's fine.
Yep.
Shut it off. So you ain't listening to chatter at night when you're sleeping. But when you're running down I-80, I-90, you know, I-70, wherever, and especially like I-80, look at all the accidents we've had on that interstate in the wintertime in Wyoming and stuff. I mean, I was going across there about 6 months ago, and I seen an accident coming up. And when I got past it, the 3 miles of cars that were lined up, I got down the road and I started warning guys, hey guys, you get off the road. Find a place to park for an hour or two because they got the road blocked off. There's an accident. It's going to be a while, you know, and they were already diverting them off and the truck stops are full. So I was trying to get guys to get off the road before they got there, and they were appreciative of it. You know, the guys that did answer me, but there was probably out of the 10, maybe 4 of them answered me. And
Yeah. Well,
that's
you know,
sad.
it's like it is sad, and like you said, I do feel like it should be a standard thing. I think that it should be a law that every truck should have a CB in it. And you know what? Yeah, a lot of guys are like, oh,
I
the
agree.
chatter, the bullshit, this, that, the shit talking, whatever.
Right.
Turn it off if you don't need it. But you know what? If you're
Right.
driving through a snowstorm and, you don't know what's around that next bend, have the
Right.
damn radio on in the rain, in the snow. Just have it on. You could squelch out and just so that when you're getting close, you can hear all the, the talking.
Right.
It's just a lot of nonsense. You need,
Mhm.
don't get me wrong. It's not going to make every accident stop, but it might
This
help.
thing only works so far, and that's only because your friends tell you.
Yeah.
You're gonna get some alerts on the weather, but you're not gonna get. I'm not gonna get Montana, telling me that she's coming down through Montana or down through North Dakota, telling me, hey, there's snowstorms up that way when you head up that way. I'm not gonna get that, unless here. But if I've got a CB, if you're running through North Dakota, she can tell you, because you ain't got her phone number. But
Yeah.
that's the only people that are gonna get this is the people that are friends with me. That radio, I can talk to anybody.
A lot of the downfall that's been happening with this industry has to do with technology, in my opinion.
It is.
I agree.
Absolutely
It's just,
agree.
everybody started to rely on all these things like, GPSs, cell phones,
Google Maps.
et cetera, Google Maps. Like, not for nothing, you should still have an atlas in your truck because I've had a GPS.
I do.
I don't have one anymore, but I
Right.
have an atlas. I've been in bad places with a GPS before, and I know a lot of
Mhm.
other drivers have too. Sometimes it
Yep.
doesn't update and a road changes. It's just,
Yep.
you got to have the old school
Or
stuff
non-truck
still in
route.
your truck. Yeah, exactly. Like you still got to have some of the old school mentality
Mhm.
because
Well,
it helps.
and common sense. Like
Yeah.
I've seen
Oh.
countless
Well, that's been
times where
thrown
people
out the
turn
window.
down. Yeah, I've seen lots of
That's a
times where guys
curse.
will turn down some prairie trail or whatever, some goat trail, and they just think that it'll come back to a road, and it's just like, well, your route planning is like 90% of this job. Like, plan your
Mhm.
route, figure out where you're going before you even put the truck in drive or put her in gear, and have like a kind of, where you're going and no surprises. But yeah, I've seen guys turn down prairie trails, and it's like, well, you can see it's a prairie trail. Where do you think you're gonna end up? Like Google
Right.
Maps isn't gonna help you there. Oh, I don't know.
Whenever
It's
I,
just common sense is out the window.
whenever I was working as the flatbed training safety manager, part of my training program was map reading and trip planning. You could not upgrade to a truck because it was for a company. There was company drivers. These students coming fresh out of truck driving school, I would pair them with over the road trainers like I used to be. And once they got done with the over the road portion, which lasted a month or so, giving at least a month, then once they got back, they had to pass a map reading test. They had to be able to plan their own routes. Trip planning is key to this. Whether your company provides you your own routing, whether you get your own routing off of, Trucker Path, or whether you're using the GPS, which you did the GPS, I myself, I used to hate the GPS, but I have come to rely on, unfortunately, a lot, especially with a lot of these distribution centers that I go to now. That just because y'all know, but the viewers might not know. Since COVID, I had to leave flatbed because my flatbed accounts tanked. I started getting my rates went from $4, $5, $6 a mile down to $1.75, $2. I had to jump to a contracted freight. So this new stuff that I'm doing, I've had to rely on this GPS countless times, especially on the inner cities, going to these small little rinky-dink places because there's only so much trip planning you can do there, and I get that because the atlases and stuff today don't really provide a street by street, access. But
But
knowing how to get to where you're going, it's key. You have to know that before you follow that GPS. There's so many other avenues. You got Google Maps. You've got Google Earth. You can always, call the customer, figure out how to get there. It's all trip planning. That's all part of it.
Yeah.
This is job.
If you don't know where
Absolutely.
you're going, you need to look it up. I mean,
Right.
for instance, a lot of the places I go to, I look up satellite view of
Yeah.
90% of the places that I got to go to, and I'll look up satellite view for miles. I'll scroll and scroll and scroll to make
Yep.
sure that trucks are on that road because they take the pictures. So you'll see a
Yep.
truck on the little road. Okay, I can drive down that road. It's all the trip planning. It just you got to do it.
Yeah.
Or else you're that guy who's riding in the middle lane who goes, oh shit, there's my exit, and you jump across and you almost cause an accident.
Hey,
I see
we've
it in
all
cars
been
a lot.
there.
I see it in trucks a lot. Yeah, everybody's been there.
We've all
But when
been
you,
there.
yeah, everybody's been there. But when if you do it the right way the first time and really plan your shit, it doesn't happen. You're not going to be jerking the wheel in from the middle lane to get off that exit last second because you're waiting
Right.
for it.
Yep.
I
what
just
I
use
used to do
Google
as a
Maps
trainer?
as a guideline is all I use it for anymore. I mean, with me running regional, I'm down to Omaha a lot, I'm down to Norfolk a lot, different places, Sioux City, and I know where I'm going now. But I still turn that Google Maps on as a guideline because you get busy doing things, watching the road and stuff like that. And if somebody happened to call you and you get on your headset and you're talking to them, that's the biggest distraction. And it really is, because at least if Google Maps is on there, it'll warn me that I got to turn up here in a mile. And if that helps so much. But like you said, Google Maps, you zoom in and look at that building. And I've called customers and said, hey, is this the building, this building with the red roof? And I tell them, I said, I see a red car sitting out front. Are you here? No, I'm looking at Google Maps. What? I said, I'm looking at Google Maps. I'm looking at this street. I got to go down 16th Street down to, Favre Avenue and pull in there and back into this dock right here by this red car. This red car's parked. He goes, you're not here. No, I'm not here. I'm like 80 miles away. Well, how are you looking at this? Well, I'm looking at satellite view of your building, and he'll tell me. He says, yeah, it's right next to that red car. Back it right in there. I said, sweet, awesome, dude. I'll see you here in about an hour and a half. And
I
that's
might
part
be
of your trip
old, but I
planning.
got eyes like a hawk.
Yeah. Well, and it also helps with being efficient.
I've just been
right? Like, then you're not
Right.
sitting there looking for where you're supposed to back in. Like hauling cattle, I know that when you're going to these feedlots, like everybody's chutes are different and every location is different. So if that Google Maps, that satellite view is just heaven sent for that, because you can just look in and zoom in and be like, oh, there's my chute. There's the receiving pens. You don't got to walk out there at 1 a.m. in the pitch dark and try to figure out gates and pens. So it
Where's the
definitely is
scale?
heaven sent that. Yeah. That way I like it.
It helps you a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong, I couldn't imagine what it had been like 30 years ago, or even let's say the 70s and early 80s, before we had cell phones. I mean, I can remember my dad getting out, going to a payphone, calling his dispatcher back in South Dakota, saying, hey, we're down here, such in Omaha, down here by Omaha. Where do we go now? And if you didn't get a hold of him, you had to sit there and wait 15, 20 minutes, call him back again. And you had to wait, and we don't do that no more. We just call. If we don't get an answer, send him a text, and boom, here you go. I mean, that's the godsend of it.
Even in the early to mid 90s, it was still like that when, not everybody could afford those big brick cell phones back in those days. I remember being
with a bag phone.
I remember being with my father when I was a little kid, and him, back then it was the one a day check call. You called your wife once a day. You called your, girlfriend once a day. You called your dispatch once a day, or the customer. If you're doing your own thing back then. And I remember sitting at tables in restaurants and there being a phone at the end of the table, and sitting there dialing on the phone, and my father would be talking on the phone, calling the people that he had to call to let everybody know, yeah, we're all right, we're here, we're going to be there at this time. It's just it's changed so much.
Has any of y'all ever run with a broker or had run with dispatch or a company or whatever, and you didn't want to use your minutes on your phone, so you used a pay phone to call your dispatch or to call your company? You guys remember those days?
Oh yeah, I remember the beeper days.
Oh,
I don't know if I was even alive at those days.
Yeah, I mean, you're 21, so what? You were born in
2000.
Ooh,
2000.
Yeah, I'm a 2000
no, but
baby.
Yeah, you grew up with Blackberries.
What
are you talking about?
Well, if you ain't figured out my TikTok name, that's my year.
oh hell.
Yeah, bicentennial, baby.
Yeah.
1876? Damn.
Oh shit. He was there for the revolution.
No, that's 1776. I was there when there was only 4. It sucked.
Oh man. Yeah, today's trucking definitely isn't the way it used to be. You got our proper etiquette out here, man. It's changed. I remember whenever I was a kid driving down the road, and if there's a truck broke down on the side of the road, there'd be a line of trucks behind it trying to help that man get fixed and go along his way. Now, I break down on the side of the road, I'm shit out of luck.
People can't
And
even
if
move
I'm
over.
stuck, and I was actually
Yeah.
thinking about this
Yeah.
coming up here to Salt Lake, coming up here through Moab and everything, and going up 70. I had zero service about 40-50% of the time. I couldn't even call my customer, let them know that this road was closed. I wasn't going to make it there on time. I can't drop until Monday. I couldn't do that because I had zero service. What if I broke down right there? No one's going
Right.
to stop and help me out.
Nope.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. Lift the radiator. We found out with Mario not too long ago. We can't lift the radiator out of a damn semi by ourselves. How are we going to fix our shit on the side of the road? We can't even call it a tow truck.
Who are you
Yeah.
talking to?
Well, yeah, it's even you're lucky to even get a guy to move over or
Yeah.
slow
And, like,
down, but
besides the radiator thing that happened with me a few weeks ago, that if I would have been able to make it home, I could have fixed that myself. I was a diesel mechanic, but being on the side of the road, don't get me wrong, I have all the tools, but that thing weighs 500 pounds. I ain't fucking lifting that by myself.
Right.
Right.
But I had a major breakdown where I was, I was able to limp that to a truck stop. The week prior, I had a really major breakdown where my bearings on my trailer blew out, and
Right. Yep.
caught the
There's a
brakes
reason
on
why
fire.
Mario's lights are red.
Yeah.
You
Run
should have
the-
one blue one too, though, because he had
Yeah,
them both
yeah,
behind
yeah.
in there.
Emergency, Freightliner. But I was sitting on the side of the road from 3:00 in the morning until 7 because I was in the middle of nowhere and nobody could get to me. Nobody could move over. My truck was doing this the whole damn night.
Yep.
And it's one of those things. Move over, get off. It's the middle of the night. You got plenty of space. There ain't nobody on the road. Get your ass over another lane.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
funny.
the common courtesy of moving over for stuff like that is just
Yeah,
it's not
the
there.
common courtesy
I
is
mean-
just not there anymore. It like boils down to even like we were talking about showers and stuff like that. Like, stop doing your 30-minute break on the fuel island and going inside and doing a fucking shower.
I thought it was one of
Right.
the younger people that did
I
that.
can't tell you how many times I've had to yell at somebody because I get a little irate over this. I'll be sitting behind somebody, I'll get my fuel, I'll be down and I'm going to give you a little bit of time to go inside the truck stop, get a bite to eat. If you're running inside the Wendy's to grab a burger or a drink or a pack of
Right.
smokes, whatever you're getting,
Right.
10 minutes or so,
Sometimes that
whatever.
line is 15 minutes long.
Yeah, sometimes that line's 15 minutes long. So I try to give guys that time. But when it starts getting to about
Yep.
20 minutes or so and I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, dude, are you going to go? And I've knocked on countless guys' doors, and they're just sitting there playing on their phone. One guy was eating dinner in the back of his truck on the fuel island, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Oh, I got 5 minutes left on my 30. Move your truck now. Like,
You can do the 5-mile-an-hour crawl to the side, out of the way. There's
Yeah.
usually during the day, there's plenty of parking there. Just find some place to idle off and be off out of the way. It's not
Yep.
that hard. We all seen
But
them
now
do it. I mean, that's fine if you got an ELD. You can do the 5-mile-an-hour fucking crawl and just get out of the way. You don't need to be sitting in front of that fuel island. I mean, if there's 10 islands and nobody else is in there and you pull up, okay, fine. If there's nobody there, that's fine. But don't, when that island's full of trucks, I pulled into the petrol out there in Nevada and it's full. And dude's sitting up there eating his
Yeah.
lunch. It's like,
when it's busy time,
dude, there's
you
like
just
4
can't do
cars,
that.
trucks behind us. Come on, move.
Nowadays, I like to call, like I said, I'm going to get a lot of heat because of the way I say some things, but, daylight savings drivers. Everybody nowadays, you see that there's busy times in these truck stops where everybody's getting fuel at the same exact time.
Yeah.
Not everybody's out here running all night long like I do or Squid does or
Los
Montana does or
Cruces,
even
New
you do, Wayne.
Mexico.
If
Yep.
it's 2:00 in the morning and you pull up to a truck stop and you know that there's 15 open fuel islands and there ain't nobody there and you could get away with that, not a problem. But,
Yeah, I was getting ready to say that.
not a problem. Do
Right.
your 30-minute break. But if it's busy time and you see fucking lines of trucks all over the place, like for instance, Winchester, Virginia, to me, is the worst. There's a Flying J there and everybody gets fuel between 5 and 7 p.m. I mean, there's a line of trucks on every single fuel island, 4 or 5 trucks back. And there will be a guy doing his 30-minute break. Stop. You
That's-
can't do
Yep.
that, man. You're holding up people who are actually aren't on their 30-minute break.
Yeah,
That's how
they're
Las
on the
Cruces
clock
is.
too, and they got to move.
I'm
And
I live in
and
West
again,
Texas. I run the West all the time. Las Cruces, I go by there once or twice a week, and it's the same damn way. The Love's there at the was it TA there? It's the same damn way.
Yep.
It'll be peak fueling time in the morning and then the night because you got your morning time. It's peak time there because people are leaving for the day, doing the day driving. At night, the evening time. That's when people are waking up from the day and going to drive their nights or filling up at the end. That's the peak fueling time.
Yep.
And there's, I can't tell you how many times at that Love's and there's no room to pull up. It's either you have to fuel up, you have to go find a place to park or leave. There's nowhere to pull up, and it doesn't work because nobody can get out. So you have to leave. But people sit there on that fuel island and they milk it. I've seen people in there; they're not even fueling. They just got the hoses draped in there to make it look like they're fueling, and they're just sitting up there playing with their phone.
Yeah, and well, it
that's
affects
wrong.
everybody. Like, they don't understand that, like, yeah, you have 30 minutes to kill, but the guy behind you might only have 30 minutes to get his load off. Like, they're crushing for time, and then the next day's wrecked for that driver, and then it's just some respect. Just the littlest bit of respect to move your truck 15, 20 feet forward. It's sad that it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
I agree. It's
It's
a dying
real
industry.
quick. I'll be back.
Our industry, like the respect and the the camaraderie, it's dying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not what it used to be, and sadly, unfortunately, that's kind of why whenever me and Wayne were talking, that's why we wanted to do this. That's why we brought y'all on. That's why we thought we all come together as a collaborative, and we decided what we wanted this to be about, and that's what we wanted it to do. We want to bring everybody back together and kind of, it's a long shot, sure. We've all talked about it. We don't know where this is going to go, but we're going to treat it as if it's already where it's going to be. We're going to treat this as if this is already, big. We're that Joe Rogan area type area. That's just how we're going to treat this. But whether we're just being optimistic or whether we're just overshooting what we want, but I don't know, man.
Care if there's only 10 people that watch this show. At least we're reaching out to somebody to let them know, talk to us. We want to hear from you. We want to talk to you. We want to tell you what we know. You want to tell us what, we want to know what you know. So,
Great.
It's just all about
coming back together. That's what we want.
And the common courtesy, everything that we've been going over. Like, another thing, for instance, I know a lot of guys, and I know we've seen these videos where guys are, bitching or talking shit to somebody who is trying to back up into a spot. Not everybody has the experience that some of us have. One thing that I've always been told, you need to know your truck. You need to know how that thing turns. You need to know, how your trailer is going to back up where your tandems are at. You need to pay attention to these things. You need to look at your situation, analyze it, and think about what you're going to do before you start doing it. And a lot of guys aren't telling these younger guys. I'm young too. Montana's young. Squid's still young. Wayne, you're old. But like, if somebody's backing into a spot and you see them hitting it wrong, get out and tell them, hey, listen, man, if you hit it like this, you might have a little bit better luck. If you don't need to hit everything at a 90-degree alley, Doc. You need to, analyze the situation before you attempt to do something. Don't just pull up to it, say, oh, look, an open hole, and not look around your surroundings. That's how guys smack into poles. That's how guys crash into other trucks. You got to analyze and interpret every situation that you do. And these older guys that know this, like the people that have told me that, like my father who trained me, taught me, instilled that in my head. We need to instill that in these guys' heads too, and also help them. Don't be an asshole. Like, for instance, I seen a video where a guy was like, oh, you can back up your truck, but not next to mine. Shut up. Get out and help. You got.
Yeah, I know there was a trainer out there, but he could have went out there on the other side of the truck and helped on the other side.
Exactly. You got guys out here, not trying to knock companies, but they don't have whatever. He's a trainer. But, for instance, certain companies are putting guys in trucks and having them train people with 3 to 6 months of experience behind the wheel. If you got 5, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, get out and help the trainer help the kid, because they're both not experienced.
Right.
I try to do
my part. Seen that one where that trainer had 9 months of driving experience and she became a trainer. It's like, oh, dear girl. I mean,
I've seen a bunch of videos.
It's like, no disrespect to her. She probably drives very well. But like we said, she really fuck off.
Oh, shit.
Now, if you just said the old man, that'd been one thing. But Grandpa, really? Yes, I have grandkids. But, it'd been one. If she would, she's got 9 months experience. What does she actually know about it? Nothing. She knows very little about the industry. I mean, and maybe her dad taught her and stuff. And hopefully, her dad taught her, and she does know quite a bit. Maybe she is a quick learner. That'd be awesome that she did. But it just worries me that these big companies are throwing these people basically to the wolves.
Yep.
And they are.
And
and then you see all these accidents, and then you wonder why Swift keeps coming up. You wonder why Warner keeps coming up. I mean, those guys. They're part of the. I just hope that they would understand that you just don't do that. I mean, it's not hard. You got guys that drive for you. They've been driving for you for 20 years. Why aren't they the trainers, or why aren't they training guys at 5 years in doing it instead of throwing these?
You know why? Because everybody,
money.
Everybody, who's been doing it, as long as we have and up, we've at least attempted it, or we've seen what comes of it. I'm gonna tell you now. I used to train over the road. I will not ever do that today. I did it 5 years ago. I won't do it today. Hell no.
I did it once.
I've been driving 5 years. I mean, most people would say, that term, oh, you're still wet behind the ears. You know what? So be it. Maybe I'm, one thing that I've
absolutely
always been
I
told is
am.
the day that the one thing that I've always been told is the day that you know it all in this industry is the day you need to hang up your keys.
Yep.
Get out.
Exactly.
If you're not learning something new every day, then you don't need to be out here because you don't fucking know everything. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're the king of trucking. You don't know everything.
No.
Like you and I just talked here just not too long ago about the Johnny Bar, the whole Johnny Bar thing.
Yeah,
how many people actually know about the Johnny Bar, what it does, besides just a parking brake? Most people think it is.
After that happened,
how many times have I called you guys and told you that got me out of a slide?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
After I told you about that, I'll get into that story. I had a driver cut me off doing about 30 miles an hour when I was doing 60 up the middle lane on 95 in Connecticut. And I started the jackknife. It was raining. I slammed on the brakes. I jerked it to the left lane because he jumped in front of me, and my trailer started coming around. Now, this will not work every single time, but I had a driver follow me into the truck stop and say, driver, how did you save that? You'd grab that Johnny brake, the trolley bar, whatever you want to call it, yank that motherfucker, and put your pedal to the floor. You got to race that trailer. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't, but at least you have the knowledge to try it.
That's actually
as scary as it seems.
Really,
it does work.
It's really helpful actually if your trailer's starting to tip over in the wind too. I don't know if you guys have wind. Like we have wind here, but we had like 128 kilometers an hour. But
we've all been across Wyoming.
South of Wayne, right? Like here's Wayne. There's a border between y'all.
Right. There's only one state between us.
Hey, technically below Wayne is me if you want to get technical with it.
Yeah.
There's there's the taint between us.
Yeah, there's plenty of times that's happened. Like Mario said, it's not gonna work every single time. But what these kids are taught in school is to grab the steering wheel and throw the clutch in. In some situations, sure, that can work. But in most situations, that can cause more problems than than good.
That clutch thing, that's usually when the truck is sliding. When the truck starts sliding, that's when you use the clutch. But when the trailer slides, they're not taught anything.
Nope. It's just a lot of stuff boils down to a lack of training and the fact that they're putting these guys out with no experience. And like I said, it's that term wet behind the ears. Somebody like, a lot of guys will look at me, oh, you only been driving, 5 years. But you got to remember something. I have a grandfather who drove for 40-something years, an uncle who drove for 40-something years, and my father who's still driving to this day, who's been driving for 33 years. And my grandfather and my uncle both are gone, but I learned a lot from them going with them as a kid, going with my father as a kid. So for me personally, that wet behind the ears comment can get thrown out the window because I've been learning how to drive a damn truck since I was 5 years old. I started the first time I ever drove a truck. I was 14 when my father finally was like, "Hey, you know what? You want to learn how to drive? We're on a back road." So it's just it's one of those things where we just need to help each other. We need to teach them the things that we do know. I'm always learning. I'm always trying to learn. I'm always listening to the veteran drivers that have been out here for 20, 30, even 10, 15 years. If you got something that can help me, I'm going to listen.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of these young guys need to also stop with the pride shit. I understand, you went to truck driving school, whatever. I went to truck driving school too through a mega company before I owned my own truck. But you have to be able to take constructive criticism and take it correctly.
Right.
You know, if somebody gets out and says, hey, man, listen, if you hit it a little bit differently, you'll get into that hole easier. If you're going to be that young guy who's like, I know what I'm doing, you're not going to make it very far in this industry.
No.
You got to always be willing to learn.
Yeah.
You know, to touch on that and kind of touch on the whole back you up in the parking spot thing from a minute ago, you know, I put out a couple TikToks. This is what I told all my trainees. You know, there's going to be times where these new guys or people who are just dog ass tired. You know, you could be in this industry for 20 years and be dog ass tired and still not hit that perfect spot. It's an easy spot. You will hit that spot in a truck stop any day of the week on a dime first shot. But whenever you're tired, you're not going to hit that. You're going to be backing up. It's going to take you 5-10 minutes to get in there. And you have people on the CB talking shit. People sitting here inching up to you, you know, at the nose trying to pass by. People flashing their lights. And one thing that this newer generation needs to realize is, you know, fuck them. You know, turn your CB off. Turn your CB off. Give them the bird. Whatever it takes you to get focused. They've been in that situation before too. No matter how old they are, how long they've been in it, they forget that they have been in that spot too.
That's what I was going to say. Everybody has their day. Like you said, sometimes you're going to back into that spot first try.
First time.
I do it often because like I said, I know my equipment. I know my truck. I've been driving this same truck for 3 years every single damn day. And I've learned this truck. If you know your equipment, you can, you know, do some things, but everybody has their days. There's times where that parking spot could be so easy. And it takes me 3-4 tries because I make a mistake or I'm overthinking or, you know, something like that. You got people on the CB talking, shut those guys out. Don't worry about them. They're already back in their spots and they're being jerks. Don't worry about them. I don't care how many times it takes you. If you get into that spot without hitting somebody else and you do it safely without putting anybody else in danger, you're doing a damn good job.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely vouch for that because I am a first generation trucker and nobody in my family drives trucks and nobody I know drives trucks. I didn't learn from anybody, so and I didn't go to driver training school. I will admit
not everybody has, you know, not everybody's had the opportunity that I had. Like, you know, you're first generation, you had to teach yourself. Me, on the other hand, you know, I grew up into this from the time I was a little boy. I mean, I was conceived in a truck. Straight up. No, I'm not even kidding. My father, when he gets on here one day, because I do plan on bringing him in here because he's a very knowledgeable man. But, you know, I literally was conceived in a damn truck. This is my life. So, you know, having my grandfather, having my uncle, I even have an aunt that drove. My great-grandfather drove for a little while. Like, I'm a fourth, actually, generation truck driver because my great-grandfather even drove for a little while. So, you know, it's just a lot of years of experience that's been dropped down and a lot of knowledge that's in my head. But you still got to learn how to maneuver that truck yourself.
Yeah. And don't be scared to ask questions. Like, I find that's such a big thing, too. If you just get out and ask a question or ask on the CD or anybody standing there, I'm positive that somebody is willing to help you improve yourself if you just ask.
And that comes down to a pride thing, too, with a lot of these guys. Because don't be afraid. If you're backing into a spot and you got 2 trucks on both sides and you're a little worried about where that overhang is on the trailer, if you're pulling, like, say, a reefer or a dry box with sliding tandems and, you know, whatever, any trailer, it don't matter. Right. You know, if you're a little worried and you see a driver sitting in his driver's seat, get rid of your pride and just, you know, get out and be like, hey, man, you think you can help me real quick? I don't want to hit nobody. You know, don't sit there and try to just get into the tightest spot by yourself because I'm the best driver I can. Just ask for help. Yeah. I mean, if you see me,
the king of truckers.
Yeah, if anybody ever sees me, I mean, not for nothing, I'm always sitting in the driver's seat, looking around, watching. You know, if I see a guy having trouble, I'll get out and help. But also, if you want help right off the bat, walk up to me, ask me. I have no problem in the world getting out of my truck and trying to help you.
Exactly.
But at that point too, you got to listen to what I'm telling you. If I'm telling you to turn your wheel left, turn that damn wheel left. Don't sit there and keep looking in your mirror and say, no, I can go a little bit more. Listen to what the guy's trying to help you.
Yeah. Just follow instructions quickly. And like when I'm parked in at a truck stop, I don't know if anybody else does this, but if I see a guy backing in beside me, the first thing I do is kick my park lights on. So he can see the side of my trailer. He knows exactly where it's at. So when he's backing in, that helps him because then he can see where he's in distance from me. And then he can guide off of me and not the guy on the other side that's dark. You know,
and that's one thing I need to touch on. When somebody is backing in next to you, turn off your damn headlights.
Exactly.
Okay, because a lot of guys
if you're in a
don't
truck
realize
stop, you
this.
shouldn't have your headlights on anyway. Common
Yeah, a lot of
courtesy
guys
tells you to
don't.
shut them off.
Yeah,
You
a lot
know,
of guys
even
don't
driving
realize
through the
this.
lot, shut them off.
But
Just
when you're
have your
trying
park
to
lights
back
on.
into a
I
parking
wouldn't go
spot
that far. Turn
and
your
there's
brights off
headlights
on
in your
this driving
mirror,
through.
you can't see shit. The little
Yeah.
red, the little amber lights are the ones that you want to look at, because the headlights,
Right.
they just do nothing but make it to where you can't see
Confuse
anything.
you.
And I
They
see too many
confuse you.
guys leaving the headlights on, and they're just sitting in their driver's seat like la-di-da-di-da, playing on their phone. Pay attention to your surroundings, because if you don't, that's how your hood gets taken off.
Yeah.
But I'm not so sure that some of these trucks don't stay on automatically, because I've seen them
No.
sit in these newer trucks. They got this LED strip that goes through their lights.
Yeah, like a
and
little,
they stay on.
Yeah,
Right.
like
Yeah,
a little
and-
daytime
but
running
see,
light, but they're not too
that's
bright.
But I think some of the older ones with ELDs, like we had one of our guys that was driving a Peterbilt. He put the ELD in his truck, and it automatically, as soon as you turn it on, his headlights come on. No matter if he's parked or not, that ELD's on. Those fucking headlights were on. He had to shut his ELD off to shut the headlights on, and it was crazy. It's like, what the fuck is going on there?
Yeah,
I didn't understand that,
that's a little
and he was
crazy.
pissed. Yeah,
You know,
and it was even during the
that's
day. I
something-
mean, they'd kick them on all the time.
You know, with the headlights, that's all. Like another thing that I want to touch on with the whole, common courtesy, using your brain, common sense kind of thing. High beams are bright. That's what they're
Right.
fucking meant for. They're meant to see when you're on a 2-lane road or whatever, and it's dark on both sides, whatever. But, I know that a lot of these trucks, you can't, like you said, the E-Log won't let them turn the damn headlights off. But
Right, but turn them on dim.
if you can turn your headlights off and somebody's passing you and you're going to flash them back over, do it the old school way, because you're blinding us. And a lot of these LED headlights are too fucking bright. So when you're flashing your high beams at us, you're blinding us. If you can turn your headlights off for that split second and flip them back on, please do that. Because I hate being blinded. I mean, it hurts.
I know.
My eyes are very bright blue, and it hurts my soul.
I know us three on our Peterbilts. You take your headlight, your high beam switch, and you push forward on it, and it shuts them off for a brief second, for like 2 seconds. You just click, and you let go of it, and it shuts off for 2 seconds and comes back on.
Yeah,
and I don't know what,
truck, I got my old truck, I have my headlight switch, but it up is headlights and all the lights, and then down is just your running lights. So I can just do a quick flip real quick. When I get back in front of somebody, I have a running light interrupt switch. So I can say thank you after they, either shut their headlights off or, I'm sorry, but when you blind me with your high beams, I'm not going to say thank you, because you just hurt my feelings. My eyes hurt.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if
That's-
you'd ever pass me, so
not
I
everybody
mean,
has that,
I'm gonna.
Not everybody has that, but
if your lights
somebody
don't
with
turn on
eyes
too,
as
like
bright as mine.
Yeah,
it
you
hurts.
have a CB too, and you can even make
Yeah,
that effort.
Right.
So you're good.
Come
to
on
come
over,
back.
driver.
Yeah.
I
Yep,
don't know
you got
how
it, boss.
I don't know how it
I
is
know
in
everybody
Canada,
can see this
Montana.
chrome mic hanging.
And Montana,
My
I don't know
CB's
how
always
it is
on.
in Canada, but those guys that have their high beams on that don't care, they're not gonna have a CB in their truck. Because if they have a CB in their truck and it's turned on, they're professional enough to kill them lights.
Yeah. Yeah.
9 times out of 10. See, I got
That
a
are like-
CB. Mine's on right now, as a matter of fact. It's always on.
My CB's always on too. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am, actually going to a delivery right now, but when I see the truck stop, I'll turn it down. I'll turn it off. Nobody wants to be woken up by somebody saying I got no panties on. But when you're driving down the road, just
depending
just
on if
squelch
it's
it
you
out.
or not.
Hey, it's all depending, Mario. It's all depending.
If it's you, I'll listen.
Yeah.
You want Grandpa to come over there?
Yeah.
Grandpa
There's
Wayne
just a
will
lot
take
of
his
things
teeth
that
out.
people need to start using their common sense with. I mean, not for nothing. Like, I feel like a lot of the things that we're even talking about now really don't need to be talked about, because it should be a common sense kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I know
should be.
Common
one,
sense
with the
isn't
high
common
beams.
anymore. Haven't you
Like,
heard that phrase?
No,
Yeah, I know, but it's like
right.
with the headlights that I just talked about, with the high beams and everything else. I know these drivers know how freaking bright they are, because it happens to them too. So start thinking and just flip them on and off if you can. If you can't, it's all good. But at the same time, run a CB. So if you can't, you can be like, hey man, listen, you can come on over now. Or if you did flash your high beams, hey man, sorry, my headlights don't turn off. That's all I could do for you. There's just a lot of things that could be done differently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Technology, man. Technology's kind of fucking us all. It's
is.
helping us. Don't get me wrong. it's helping us, but it's kind of fucking us all too.
It has its
Yeah.
place.
I would say part of the reason why this industry has changed, and don't get me wrong, the plastic trucks, they have their place. I mean, they're cheap. I mean,
fuel
you look at
efficient.
my 2020 glider was well over $200,000. It's a glider. It's got a Caterpillar in it, 99 2WS in it. It was with the paint job and everything was right at the 2.25. You know, I understand that Walmart is not going to buy you a $225,000 truck. They're going to buy you lucky if you get a $130,000 truck, if you're lucky.
Yeah, I mean, you're
And
gonna
it's
get
going to
the
be
new
what it is.
Cascadia. You're gonna get that plastic
Right.
truck.
So
And
I got a
that's okay.
$170,000
And I
lot
know
truck.
that,
Bought it off the lot.
and right, but the plastic trucks at 135,000 coming off the lots, if that's right in their ballpark where they're at. The guys, the old school boys, and don't get me wrong, we love them. The old school boys, the old 60s and 70s guys that drove back then.
Oh,
They
yeah.
gave those guys so much shit about driving that plastic truck that I think that's when the divide kind of started. And I hope that
It also
most of those guys have retired and moved on. There's still quite a few of them out there, but they need to understand that if we don't welcome these guys that are starting out in these plastic trucks, and that's what they got, that's what they have to drive, that if we don't
what?
start welcoming them into it, we're not going to have an industry that we're going to have this
Yeah.
problem from here on out. It's going to keep going. And
And it's not
hopefully
even about
maybe
them
we
having.
can.
It's not even about them having to drive it either. Like, some guys choose it, and that's okay.
Right,
I don't
right.
care what truck you drive. We're all out here doing the same damn job. The stuff
Right,
that happens on
exactly.
the internet, personally, with me, like, yeah, I make a lot of jokes about, oh, Caterpillar, this, whatever. I love a Cummins motor, so you'll
Right.
never see me diss a Cummins motor, but my truck's got a Detroit. And I'll mess with the guys that act like my truck's all that, and, it's fast as that. My truck ain't fast. It's a freaking 500 horsepower Detroit. I just like to fuck with people. But
Yeah.
that's
Right.
what it is. It's just messing with people. A lot of
Yeah.
the guys are taking it too seriously, and they're really letting it get to their head. Like, a lot of the Pete guys, I know you guys all drive Pete's, whatever, but Pete guys, Kenworth guys, the Packard guys, you guys got the syndrome. That you guys, some of these guys they think they're better than everybody because they're driving, a $200,000 truck versus the truck that I bought for $13,500.
Do you want to see
But
how
we're
big it
all-
is? It's not
but-
little.
But we're all doing the same job. I'm hauling the same fucking freight that they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
That's how we started.
It
That's
is.
kind of how we started this off. Well, it doesn't matter what you drive. Contrary to
don't get me
popular
wrong.
belief, we don't care.
Don't get me wrong.
Just do it
There is
safely.
some guys that like to act like
Right.
they do get more than they do. Like, I'm sorry, but if you're driving, a certain vehicle for a certain place, you ain't getting the same rates that we're getting. So,
No.
you're worried about a little bit too much. But, that all boils down to just, it's whatever. You're still making money. You're still getting the job done.
Right.
Like, for
At the
Yeah,
end of the
instance,
day-
whether you be a lease or an owner or a
Yeah.
company driver, you're still making money. You're still making the world go round. So what does
Yeah.
it matter? I mean,
it
as
doesn't,
long as you're happy doing what you're doing, then keep
Exactly.
doing it.
it doesn't
But if you're
matter
not
what
happy
you're
in your
running.
job and you absolutely hate going to work, then find a different line. I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
I hate to tell drivers that, if you hate your job, to get out. Because if you don't love what you do and it's a job and you just
It's not
dread
worth
going
it.
to work every day,
Yeah.
it's not worth it. You can find something else that'll make you happy, because I enjoy what I do. I enjoy going to work every day. Yes, I'm at home right now, but I'm taking off tomorrow morning, heading down, get my loads dumped and reloaded and come back, and I might be back home tomorrow for an hour. But that's my job. I'm a regional driver, and I'm home every weekend, which
Mhm.
I love. Do I want to do what you do, Squid, and be out for 3 months? No, I don't. That's not me.
I live that
Kudos to
life.
you for doing it, but I can't do that. I have a family at home. I want to be there. And, I know you have family too, but each situation is different. Everybody's different.
And
So
nobody should be
don't,
knocked for it.
no, they shouldn't be. And that's
Now, if
just
you're
it.
out
The
here thinking it's just a
OTRs and the
job,
locals, and it's not a job. It's a way of life.
Yeah,
It
exactly. And if you're out
absolutely
here
is.
and you hate your job and everything like that, I will be the guy who tells you to fucking quit, because,
Right.
this isn't just a job for a lot of us. This is a passion.
Yeah.
And,
It is. It's a
common
way of
courtesy
life.
goes a long way. Like, I don't care what you drive. I don't care if you run an e-log or paper. Like me, I run paper. I like to mess with some guys on the TikTok and tell them, oh, you can't run like I do, whatever. It's a joke. I run legal. It's just a different fucking type of way of doing your job.
Mhm.
Right.
It,
I'm not-
It doesn't
I'm
matter
not
if
sure
you're
how it
running
works up
600
there with
miles
all.
a day, 700 miles a day. Like for instance, the one guy that was he's a new driver and he was proud of himself running over 600 miles. And a lot of guys were giving him shit and they were actually serious about it. There ain't no need for that. Not everybody's
Y'all,
running
this is
700,
my old
800
lady.
miles a day. Not everybody's ag exempt. Not everybody is, doing the COVID
Oh.
exemptions. So we don't need to be out here, knocking
No.
everybody for doing something different. If they're getting the job done, that's all that matters. Doesn't matter what you
Right.
drive. It doesn't matter what fucking logbook you're using. Just, we're out here trying to do the same job, and we need to stick together. Because if we don't, not for nothing, we're going to let certain things take this whole industry out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Montana, how does it work up there with the logs and e-logs and everything?
It's pretty much the same how we were in.
I thought you guys had
honestly,
different hours.
We're at 70, I think. I'm honestly not the person to ask. I'm not.
Well, you're on
Is
it.
it 70 hours, 8 days?
I'm not the outlaw. Or I'm not trying to be outlaw. I just don't do it.
Listen, nobody's an outlaw nowadays.
No.
I just like when I'm running.
I can
The
give you a few
scales,
names
yeah.
you think they are.
Yeah, if
I
I'm
can give you a
running
few
the
names I
scales
think
and
they are too,
whatnot.
but
Well, let's just
for
put it
instance,
this way.
like,
I drove
you got these-
4,600 miles last week in 6 days. I logged in 159 miles. That's it. And that's because of COVID-19 exemptions. But that's just it. That's not outlaw. It's legal. So how is it outlaw? It's not.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not an outlaw no more.
If you're a bull hauler,
And-
stop acting like an outlaw because you're not. You're on the ag exemption.
No.
Yeah.
You're not.
Yeah,
running,
you're running the COVID-19 exempt and you go. And you don't have to log. I mean,
not for nothing too. 9 times out of 10, yes, don't get me wrong. I have seen it. There is still some hot loads out there where guys do have to do some sketchy things to get that load there. But for the most part, these brokers, these customers are scheduling these loads to be delivered at a time where you can run it legally.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not doing it all overnight all the time.
No.
There is still those loads sometimes. Like when COVID first started and everybody went and cleaned the stores out. Was I on ag exemptions? Yes. But the rule was, and I get a kick out of a lot of these guys that are claiming they're not running logbooks, they're not doing this, they're not doing that. You're still doing it because you have to log it as you run it, no matter what your exemption is.
Yeah.
DOT still wants to see what you're doing, and if they tell me they're not, you're lucky you haven't gotten caught yet.
Yeah. No, that's another thing. A lot of the problem comes from these bull haulers, right? Like, I'm not picking on them particularly, but it's this outlaw.
Because you're a part-time bull hauler.
I was going to say you are one.
Well, yeah, and I can speak on this because it's the outlaw mentality that we're the biggest and the baddest. I know so many guys that wake up at 10 o'clock, wait for sale at 5 in the afternoon or 5 in the evening, and then they run all night, but you've had all morning off. And then you're going to go pick on the guys that are waking up at 3, 4 in the morning to do their load, and then they quit and go home at 7 at night. Like, you guys are running the same hours, but
it's just different times.
It's just different times. So that's a lot that comes from that. And I know a lot of bull haulers that think that they're the best, but they're sitting waiting for a sale for 5, 6 hours a day. Like, you still have that time off, but it's just
you can take a nap in the bunk.
Yeah, it's a selfish mentality. Like, we're not out here to help anybody. It's just we're the biggest and the baddest, and it's not just bull haulers. It's all over TikTok.
Yeah,
everybody has done it.
Yeah,
that's because the bull haulers look up to the grain haulers. Sorry.
Yeah, there's plenty of guys that are like, oh, grain haulers.
Well, I don't know about that.
Shit.
What's
Everybody
that?
has their place.
Are you even considered a truck driver there, Grandpa Wayne? All you do is haul grain.
It's like
I haul grain for
like
I haul feed.
Without grain, without feed, you're not feeding those bulls. Without the bulls, the produce haulers are not getting the meat. Without the farms, we're not getting the produce. Without the fucking flatbedders, we're not getting the wood to build our houses. Everybody has their place. Yeah, everybody has their place in this industry. It doesn't matter what the fuck you're pulling. So,
except for car haulers.
The guys that are taking the jokes on TikTok seriously, they need to just bring it down a notch because it's not that serious. Literally, TikTok is a joke.
If I don't give you shit, it means I don't like it.
I know a lot of our viewers aren't going to agree with that one, but I can agree with that.
We're all just trying to make fun. I mean, we're out here. It gets boring. So TikTok is fun. And is it fun, talking shit and fucking with other guys?
Messing with people?
But the guys that are taking it seriously are the ones that need to chill out because life's short, man. We're all out here doing the same thing. Relax.
Yep.
Hey,
Well,
Karen, take a chill
Dish it
pill.
back out.
Yeah.
Dish it back out, but do it in a fun way.
Yeah, and I definitely think that TikTok has helped put the trucking industry out there. Like you said in the beginning, like we don't have these movies, we don't have these TV shows anymore,
Yeah.
and we don't have this
No.
persona. But so now we have the TikTok where we can actually get
Yep.
trucking out there and we can show
Yep.
it and showcase it. And then we have these guys on here that just tear it apart by making all these claims and going after people for no reason and taking
Yeah.
jokes the wrong way. It's
Don't get me wrong.
ridiculous.
I'm not going to be a total hypocrite, because have I gotten a little hot with some of the guys on TikTok and made some comments that I shouldn't have? Yeah, sure.
I
But,
mean, we've all
that's
been
also-
there.
That's
I
also,
think we all have. I can
boils
think of
down-
one video from all of us.
yeah, and that also boils down to the
Yep.
point where that certain people are taking it too far and they're getting too
Mhm.
serious, and that's to the point where finally I get pissed off. And then I get to the point where I'm going to start really actually being serious about my shit talking. And I've only done it a handful of times, but it happens.
Yeah,
But still in the same aspect, chill the
we
fuck
still
out.
are
Like,
people.
yeah, it's still our people.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be out here sticking together, and there's plenty of guys that are getting mad and blocking people and then talking shit about them behind their backs and this and that. It's like, dude, stop.
Yeah.
See, like you said, TikTok's a joke. I agree. But at
It
the
is.
same
It's a
time,
joke.
there's a particular person that's been going around on TikTok here lately. She actually come out and said, TikTok for a lot of people is a joke. It's just nothing more than an app. But for a lot of us, especially us truck drivers, that we
made a lot of
create
friends.
families here. I look
Yeah.
at all
Because
I'm looking at all three of you guys
all-
right here right
all
now,
of
and I
us.
consider all of y'all friends. No,
Right.
I would go to bat for each and every one of you, and everybody else you all us are in cahoots with on a daily basis.
Yeah.
We talked
out of the
we
four
took-
of us, only you, Squid, and you, Mario, would have met together. I know Montana and I would have never met. I would have never met
Yeah.
either one of any of you. Maybe I might have met you, like when I do my West run, but we would have never met any other day unless it was here, doing our
Exactly.
TikToks.
I've made a
And-
lot of very good friends from TikTok,
Right.
and you guys
Me
are all,
too.
one of them. Me and Squid, we have personally met. And, that was when my truck was broken, and he happened to be running through the same area because I run the East Coast and the Midwest and out to Texas and, down Southeast Florida, Georgia.
I
the
hope
whole
to
East
someday
Coast.
meet every one of you in
And
person
so do I. Like,
and sit
you know,
down
I
and
have
have a
seen-
dinner with you.
I have
Yeah.
seen a lot of guys talk about, let's have a trucker TikTok meetup somewhere. And
We
I think
talked
it's a
about
great
that.
idea. Yeah, we talked
Right.
about it. I see a lot of guys posting on it. Like I have a friend, I'll just say his name because he's awesome, pissed off trucker. And he has tried to, put that out there too. Like, hey, we should have a trucker TikTok, meetup so that we can all meet each other and, start doing something real with this industry. But the thing is
Right.
a lot of the guys need to calm down because we're not going to go all meeting up and then get all hot and heavy and try to fight each other in a truck stop
Yeah.
parking lot. That ain't cool.
We're not-
No,
We
no,
ain't
no,
having
no,
a
no.
mint condition situation.
I want everybody to sit down like they used to down at the countertop with the bar stools at the truck stop, eating dinner together, side by side, elbow to elbow, bullshitting about this and about this run and that run like it used to be. You used to walk in there and you see those old boys sitting at those bar stools, and you didn't know the guy beside you. You sat down, you ate with him, and he bullshitted about this run that I had down here, or no offense, Montana, but I met this girl down here, or I met this guy down here. It could go either way. It'd be nice to be able to bullshit about stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just the food down at this truck stop down here in New Mexico is the best chicken fried steak you've ever had. Anytime you get down there, man. That's what I want to see again. But you won't
Yeah.
unless we start doing something about it. And hopefully this does start doing something about it. And whether there's more of these podcasts that happen to do this too, all the better. All the fucking better. I hope more people do this and start doing podcasts and stuff and start talking to each other and with the TikToks and everything. I just want to see people come together a lot more like it used to be.
Yeah.
I also think
I
with
agree.
75 Chrome happening this weekend, I also think that with us launching this, because we're actually, what a lot of our viewers don't know is we actually record these a week before we launch them. So this has been recorded the weekend of 75 Chrome. This is actually going to be released the very first day of May. So it's going to be released at midnight, Friday night, Saturday morning at midnight. So this coming out, us putting this out, at this time, I think is awesome, because how many videos have y'all seen on TikTok from 75 Chrome from our personal friends, not just our
Right.
personal friends, but you see people we don't even follow on TikTok that are filming our friends that are in our
Right.
little cloud.
I've seen 3-4 of them already. That the guys that we talk to, I've seen them on other, just random TikToks. It's like, hey, I know that truck. It's like, holy shit, that's cool.
Right. The people we talk to on how many times have you seen Jacob Hatermate's truck out there? Jacob's a friend of all of ours. He's a personal friend of all of ours. It's crazy because you see him in magazines and you know who he is. Everybody knows who he is in the trucking industry. If you're in this level of the truck industry, if you're like in the company, lower end, not necessarily lower end, but if you're like just in a company jockey area, then you won't really know a lot of what's going on out here now. But in our circle,
if it wouldn't have been for TikTok, I wouldn't know him. I'll be honest. If it wouldn't have been for that, I wouldn't know him. And I mean, he's a really cool guy. I gave him some pointers on things that he could do with his grain trailer that he's got running with him. I told him how, to get rid of that little bumper and make a little design on the back of it, and told him how to do it and stuff. And he's like, "Dude, Dad, that's an awesome idea." If it wouldn't have been for TikTok and us meeting up on there and then on our snaps and stuff, I would have never been able to, give him that idea. And I hope he does go with that idea because it is a very nice design and he liked it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And like, even if you look at my back door, like if you've seen my TikToks, you've seen that I got a new decal put on and it's that skull, and somebody from the States designed it for me. And I had no idea about any of this. And even sitting in a fuel island, like fueling up, I've had probably a dozen people come up to me and be like, "Hey, you're Montana, aren't you?" And it's just like, it's pretty cool that you can meet people and people come up to you or video your truck going down the highway that you would have no clue about. And they're like, "Hey, is this you? Like, that's so awesome. I hit you on the radio. Like, hey, is this you?" And it's like, it's honestly a really cool feeling that people are starting to interact, even up in Canada, like Saskatchewan, even. Like, it's pretty small town, and it's awesome to see people doing that. And I've met some really close friends that I will probably never meet in my life, but we're really close friends because of this TikTok. And I really appreciate that about it.
And that's why we need to start using it for the right stuff.
I fully agree. A lot of people don't know this. My TikTok account that's active now is my second TikTok account. My first one had over 6,000 followers. It got taken down a little over a year ago, year and a half, something like that. I had one of my followers that followed me on my old account and carried over to my new account. He's been following me for 2 years. I've been on TikTok, and I'm stuck here in Salt Lake since Friday afternoon. I put out a video saying, "Hey, I'm gonna be in Salt Lake for the next 2.5 days. If anybody's here, hit me up." Man, that next morning I woke up, I got a message on TikTok saying, "Hey, I just happened to get a spot right next to you." I'm like, "No way." I look out my window and sure shit, there he is. We sat out here for 5 hours bullshitting.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
We were talking about old stuff that I used to post. We were talking about stuff that other people posted. He brought up stuff that I forgot I ever posted. I'm like, "Dude, how long you been following me?" "Well, I've been following you since then." "Oh, wow, that was a long time ago, dude."
Yeah.
And that stuff like that, it just blows my mind.
And being from where I am, I'm not known. There's hardly anybody here. Like, it's very small town, like I said. But when I get a message from somebody be like, "Hey, I seen your videos and they like pushed me to get my license or took a chance and did this and did that and they've inspired me." Like, me personally, I would have never thought I could do that last year. If you asked me, I would be where I am today in this app. I'd be like, "You're full of shit. There's no way. Like, there's no way people are gonna like what I'm doing in my life." But it's so awesome. Just even putting out the videos, I'm like, well, nobody's gonna see these. And then even if one person sees it and it makes their day better, then it's totally worth it. And I'm so glad that I got on this.
That's
my first follower is a 6-year-old little girl, and I'll tell you what, she stitched a couple of my videos and stuff, and she's got big smiles on her and everything, little tater bug, and she's down from the south and stuff, and she stitched a couple of my videos and stuff and sent them back to me and stuff and back and forth, and I think that was just awesome. That is the biggest feeling I've ever had in my life, is having a little girl have the biggest smile on her face, seeing my truck drive down the road and stitching with it. It's just, that's awesome. You can't get a higher feeling than having somebody recognize you and like you and do that. It's just like, wow, that's crazy that this little girl just loves the shit out of my truck and my videos. And most of my first videos were just me doing my work, setting up my trailer, unloading. That's all it was. But she loved them. And it's just like, That's freaking awesome. you know, and I still talk to her mom, talk back and forth with her mom. Usually about once a week, I talk to her. And it's awesome that she's doing good and stuff. And it, I hope someday, maybe I possibly can get down there and meet this little girl. It'd probably
Yeah.
make her world that if I got to meet her.
Mhm.
I'd love to
Especially
meet,
bring the truck.
right. If I could somehow, talk to my boss about getting down that way. But it's always a possibility. I know my boss has went up into Washington and Idaho to got potatoes and took them all the way across back over to into Minnesota. We've been around, but the east side of it, we haven't been there. The west side we have. We've been all the way out there, but you never know. I mean, with a feed wagon, I could go anywhere. I mean, really, I could, because I can haul about any freight in it. So, I mean, there could be a chance that somebody down there needs a load of feed coming out of the Dakotas or Nebraska or somewhere there, and they need it hauled down there, and I'll get asked if I want to go. Well, sure,
Yeah.
why not?
And I think that a lot of our followers might not think that we see them or notice them when they're commenting on stuff like this, but like honestly, I recognize every account that's repetitive, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Or this
Yes.
one time somebody messaged me a picture, they made a model of my truck with purple lights on it. I freaking cried. I'm not gonna lie. Like I cried. It made my entire year knowing that somebody made a model of my truck and they liked my truck. Like we notice you guys out there, and that's why we're doing this. Like it's not just for us, it's for bringing everybody together and hanging out, and it's just so awesome that we're able to do this.
And it's not even just for truck drivers either. I mean, anybody can listen to this and learn a little bit about
Right.
what we all do. I mean, it's not just the TikTok videos. There's a lot more to this that we do that people need to, listen and learn and see.
And
Yeah.
this whole podcast is about to teach our viewers, not just the industry, people who are already in the industry, not to
Anybody.
teach them, hey, you're doing things this way. This is how I do it. It might be able to help you out a little bit. It's not just that. It's also to get these people. Like I've got followers in my lives constantly. I have at least 6 people that are constantly in every single live. Wayne, that's how me
Yeah,
and
that's
Wayne
it.
met. Wayne was one of those guys that was in my live every single night. I'm a night driver. I would drive and I'd be live for 5-6 hours at a time, and Wayne would be on there for 90% of the time every night. That's how me and Wayne met. And Wayne knows these handful of people I'm talking about. There's a
Yep.
handful of people that are in there for so long, they'll fall asleep on my live just listening to me bullshit. Listen to music. And there's a
Right.
couple of them that want to get into truck driving. I have
Yep.
a kid in there. He's 17 years old. He's from the East Coast, and he wants to get into truck driving. He does a bunch of mechanic stuff, and he's trying to be a truck
Yep.
driver. There's a guy that lives in
You got that
Nebraska.
one in Nebraska? Yep.
Yeah, there's
That
one in
he's trying to get a hold
Nebraska.
of me. Yep.
Yeah, he's trying to get a CDL. Now then there's another guy that's been there for the last month or two. He's prior military. He's in Pennsylvania. I helped him get to a point to where he is now this coming week, he is now in school this week to get his CDL.
Awesome. That's
And
awesome.
he's already got a job lined up afterwards.
And
That shit right there is amazing. And if you jump,
Go ahead.
I mean, if you jump inside your followers' lives, like I jumped in a guy's live that he lives just south of here. He sent me a message like, "Hey man, did you pass through my town?" He's like an hour south of Salt Lake. So yeah, I did. He said, "Damn, if I'd have known, man, that'd have been awesome." So after he messaged me, I saw that he went live, and I went and started. I go in my viewers' lives. I'm not above anybody or anything. I don't care if you've got 1,000 followers. I don't care if you've got 5 followers or if you've got 500,000 followers. I'm going to support you just like anybody would support me. But I jumped in his live the other night, and he's like, "Oh shit, Ain't confused. What? Holy crap! Oh, where the presence of Ain't confused?" I'm like, I'm not really. I'm nothing special. He said, "No, man, I look up to you. You've inspired me to do this and that, and I really, really look up to you." And there's a few people in his comments that were agreeing with him. I'm like, guys, that I feel like really humble. I never thought anybody would think that way about me because I'm out here. You guys feel it. We're not doing anything special. We're just trying to provide for our own.
No.
We're out here living a beat up raw dog life, and these people to come in and say stuff like that just really lights a spark inside of you that I'm sure all of us have felt dying at one point with this job. Anybody, even if this is your dream job, you're gonna feel that spark die at some point. It's stuff like that that reignites it.
Yeah, and not for nothing. I mean, some of the people that I've made friends with on here, when you're not a total jerk and you make, you have people that like you and they hit you up and they're like, "Hey man, I seen this video. I want, say this and say that." You know, I've made friends that are truck drivers who are owner operators on their own businesses who have actually helped my business because of TikTok. And it's crazy to even think that. I mean, I have a couple of buddies that have hooked me up with better loads, better people to deal with, better customers that are paying more. Like TikTok has helped my business entirely in more than a few different aspects. So I mean, you know, that's more, you know, to the thing of like we need to come together because we can all help each other.
Oh yeah.
I agree. It's definitely
Absolutely.
it's definitely a definitely different, man. It's definitely a different industry, and we definitely got to bring it back to the way things used to be.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But well, guys, I think we've kind of hit what we want to talk about today.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think this is a pretty decent, pilot episode. There you go. See, we're a little bit over time, but it'll work. No, it'll work.
But
I
you
think
said you
just
got
with
to
what we
edit
covered.
and cut, so I mean we're good.
But I think some of our viewers will appreciate things we had to say. Whether we went over a little bit or not. It's
Yeah.
ooh, excuse me, it's perfectly fine. But next week, I think I've talked to one of you guys about it. Next week, I've already talked to a bunch of people about coming in and being guests. To our viewers, this is probably this is one our first episode. This is our pilot episode. So this is pretty much just us just shooting the shit, kind of giving you an idea on what the podcast is going to be about, how the feel is going to be. And just as you can see, it's nothing serious. It's nothing one sided. We have our views on our team, but we're also going to be bringing people in. Next week, Mike Produce Pimpin and Jay Wild Indian. They've agreed to come on. They're both reefer guys. One of them, Mike Produce Pimpin, he is a company man inside of a really nice custom truck. And Jay Wild Indian, that is his name. Wild Indian is his name on TikTok, isn't it?
Yes.
I think so.
I think
Yeah.
it's like
That's-
Wild Indian 21 or something.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I
So
think so. Yep.
Wild Indian, he's going to. I got Thundercloud in my head, but Wild Indian, he
Thunderbuddy.
drives
No,
a
you don't. You got Thunder Buddy stuck in your head.
Thunder Buddy.
You know, and that's the thing
And
too
you
that
know
I
we're
wanna,
gonna call him that online.
and
Yeah.
that's the thing too that I want to tell the people who are going to watch this episode or even just skim through it. Stay tuned because we're going to have people on here that are literally from all over the world. We're going to learn about how trucking is in different countries.
Right.
Not just Canada where Montana's at. I mean, I'm talking people that are in Australia, Germany,
Australia,
places
Germany.
like that. We got drivers
Just-
in
and
our group that are. We're going to learn a lot about every different aspect, even in different countries, and even tips and tricks of the trade. So
Yep.
stay tuned. It's going to get good.
Right.
I've also talked to a bunch of really popular TikTok creators.
So have
I'm not gonna throw any names out right now, but we're talking TikTok, trucking TikTok creators that are triple digit followers that a lot of our viewers know.
Yep.
A lot of our viewers have mixed opinions on, but we want to bring them in here, and we want to talk to them. There's only so much you can learn from a 50 second to a minute clip. So there's so much you can learn about a person and actually what they're about. That's what this podcast is about. This podcast is to teach people what we're all about, what we can do, and how fun this job actually can be. This job
maybe
can
we
be a
can bring-
drag. Don't get
Maybe
me
we
wrong.
can bring some people to the point of where they do have the passion, instead of just thinking of it as a job, because this isn't just a job.
Right.
Exactly. This is definitely a lifestyle, and it's not a lifestyle for everybody.
It's a lifestyle.
So
It's a
hopefully we can
sacrifice. There's a lot of things that are entailed into this job that people need to really learn about, and I really hope that we can help some people out.
Exactly.
And maybe
That's
we
what
can
it's
help
about.
some people that don't drive truck right now might actually look at this and decide to become a driver.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Because
Or even people that don't drive at all, but like learn some tricks of the road to help us out, or
right.
something.
Yeah, if you see a driver broke down, maybe stop and give him a hand or see if he needs something, or
Or
yeah,
at
I'm
least
not
move
saying
over.
I know things have changed over the years.
Yeah.
And
People are scary.
you can't
and
be
that's the
totally
thing.
trusting on everybody because there's some bad people out there. We know this. And that's part of it. It's not like it was back in 1990 when I was in the military. You could pull over and behind somebody that had their hazards on and go walk up to the vehicle and say, hey, man, can I give you a ride? I'll give you a ride to wherever and give them a ride. You don't know what you're getting into.
And that's where,
That's
you know,
just
a
it.
lot of people also just need to learn how to read
Well,
people.
that's
too,
what we're
'cause you
here.
can
That's
see
what
a
we're
bad
here to
situation
talk
real quick.
about.
Right.
But I think we should,
So-
you know, save this other stuff
Well, that's
for,
what we-
you know, the next episodes.
Right. I mean, we're going to hit a lot of subjects on
Mhm.
everything. It's not just going to be one-sided on us. I'd like to even talk to some, like we said, some highway patrolmen, some DOT guys, to see their side of it, what they see going on, and give us some stories. And don't get me wrong, there's going to be some crazy ones because some drivers out there probably make you look at them and go, what the hell are you thinking? I'll give you a quick clip into that. We had a driver get pulled over in a DOT station down in Nebraska. He literally was sitting in a lawn chair. He did not have a seat in his truck. He had a lawn chair as a driver's seat. What the hell?
That's awesome.
Really? It's like,
Well,
wow.
these are the stories that we can get into in next episode, coming episodes. We gotta
Yep.
sign off for now. So I'm Squib, ain't the confused. We got Mario. Y'all want to introduce yourselves one more time?
That mother trucker.
I'm Wayne.
I'm
Feeds
Montana.
76.
Yep.
And I want to let all of our viewers know, if you guys have any questions, any comments, any concerns, if you have anybody that you would like to see on our podcast,
Right.
we're
try to
going to
make
be
it happen.
publishing this. We're going to be publishing this onto YouTube mainly for right now. So follow our YouTube. All the links are running on the scroll at the bottom of the screen right now. Go
Subscribe.
follow, subscribe, hit that little like button down there, and put your comments at the bottom. Ask us other questions. Questions you ask on this episode right here will be addressed in the coming episode. So that's how every episode is going to work. So if you guys have any questions or concerns, just throw it down there, and
we'll do our best to get to it.
exactly.
Right.
If we don't get to your question, we will do our best. That's all. That's pretty much the only thing I can guarantee right now. But until then, y'all have a wonderful day. Y'all stay safe out there, and we will see you guys in 2 more weeks.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Later.
Reveal to me the mysteries. Can you tell me what it means? Explain these motions in me.